Yo, what's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger. We are back today with episode number 28 of my Northwestern Dynasty, back at home after last week's massacre against Alabama. That game was pretty brutal, guys. I am so sorry that we disappointed you. I really thought that we'd have a better turnout against the number 2 team in the nation, who is now number 1. And we're looking to bounce back again at home at Ryan Field in our first Big Ten game, taking on Nebraska. We were moving down the field perfectly, and then Trayvon Green drops the ball, puts it on the ground, and there's turnover number 1. Nebraska takes over. They're going to try a little option pitch to the left. I believe I played that one perfectly and allowed them to not get any yards and, in fact, lose yards. And then we're going to get a nice little stop there on third down to get the ball back so the turnover in the long run does not end up hurting us. Nebraska's coming into this game with a 2-1 record. This is also their first Big Ten game. They have wins over Florida, Atlantic, and Miami, so they've pretty much owned the state of Florida so far. And their only loss of the season is to Fresno State, which came in week number 3. And they are ranked number, I believe, 16 in the nation coming into this game. We dropped down to number 9 after that loss last week. We're now 3-1 overall. Also, our first Big Ten game. As you see, Trayvon Green picks up 11 yards there. We're moving down the field now. Going to run a little fake sweep there. Hand it off to Trayvon once more for 4 more yards. And then this time we're going to run the play action off the sweep there and find Pierre Youngblood picking up the first down. Again, we're 3-1 this season, coming off that 48-22 beatdown against Alabama. Just a terrible loss, but we have beaten California, Syracuse, and Notre Dame, who was number 4 in the country at the time this season, to land us at a 3-1 record, 9th in the country, as I stated. Nebraska comes into this game 22nd overall, averaging 35 points a game, 472 yards a game. That ranks them 12th in the nation, and also at 12th in the nation, 239 rushing yards per game. So it's going to be a test once again as they dominate in the run and we dominate in run defense, now only allowing 56.8 rushing yards per game. Again, that's number 1 in the nation. No surprise there, as last year's team did the same thing, and this year's team is doing it as well. We do have a 7-0 lead in the second quarter. Got the ball back after a nice stop there off their fake punt attempt, which is a pretty big fail. We're going to hand it off to Trayvon. He's just racking up yards on the ground. 173.3 rushing yards per game for us. A pretty high amount in my opinion, but it still only ranks us 60th in the nation. So there's a lot of teams that are rushing the ball for more yardage than us. But considering I'm not a big rusher, this is pretty good. Trayvon Green having a great season. He's going to take a touchdown there, crossing the goal line, 14-0 now, as we are still in the second quarter. And let's talk about some of the upsets this week, some of the games, the final scores. Nebraska did tack on a field goal right before halftime, and they're now down 14-3 starting the second half. Eastern Michigan upset number 20 Michigan State 35-34. Clemson upset number 23 Florida State University 38-35. Number 22 Stanford beats number 21 Utah 48-22. Number 17 North Carolina beats number 4 Notre Dame, so Notre Dame gets a second loss of the season, and they lose 23-8. And number 1 Alabama cruises past Ole Miss, so they beat us down, and then they beat number 11 Ole Miss down 43-7. And those are your big time scores for this week. And this is week number 4. We play an undefeated Ohio State who got jumped by Alabama, so we get another shot at number 2 in the nation. I believe is this our third top 5 team in 4 weeks. So we beat Notre Dame when they were a top 5 team. Then we had Syracuse, and then we took on Alabama. It's going to be our third in 5 weeks. And then we still have this ranked team that we're playing here, but we're handling them pretty well, as the score is now 21-3. As we get a little pass there, a touchdown pass from Trevor Siemian to, I believe it was Christian Jones, one of the Jones brothers. I know they're not really brothers, but Nebraska's going to get a pretty good kickoff return here to get them onto our side of the field. 5 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. Again, 21 1-3. Real quick, Trayvon Green, he's having a great game in this gameplay, and he's been playing good all season. 653 rushing yards, #1 in the nation, and still in the Heisman race. We'll do some recruiting and Heisman stats and all that stuff in a couple weeks, but I thought I'd just add that in there, that he's in there in the Heisman race with familiar names like Braxton Miller and Blake Bell from Oklahoma, who, interestingly enough, has been benched in real life, or was benched in real life. So that's funny, he's a Heisman candidate. So Nebraska's going to get kind of a desperation touchdown there. They're going to go for the onside and come up unsuccessful. And we just have to burn clock here now, as Nebraska does have all 3 timeouts. But luckily we have a Heisman hopeful running back in the backfield who we can just hand the ball off to and burn that clock. We're going to give it to Trayvon Green again there as he picks up 7 yards, 8 yards actually. And then we're going to run another draw play, short of the first down again, but still chewing up clock, 2nd and 3, and we hand off once again. This time he gets inside the 5-yard 28 and Nebraska's out of timeouts. We'd score one more time with 27 seconds left, and that would be your final score, folks. 28-10. We get the win, improved to 4-1, 1-0 in the Big Ten, and we do have a huge game again against Ohio State next week. So stay tuned for that one. Make sure you click that thumbs up if you enjoyed this gameplay. I really would appreciate it. Again, it's Popular Stranger. Make sure you subscribe if you're not. I'm out. Peace.